brainwashing of mankind, so that your heroes are now this one from Hollywood and that one from Hollywood. The brainwashing of mankind is just one part of the modern way of life. But there is more political oppression in the world today than ever before. Ask those from Afghanistan who are present in this hall today, and they are from Afghanistan, here with us. There is more economic oppression in the world today than ever before in history. Ask Africa. We have Mali here with us today. We have Senegal here with us today. We have Kenya here with us today. We have South Africa here with us today. Go ask them. And they'll tell you of Africa, down in the dust, not just poverty, but destitution. And the wealth of Africa is being drained out of Africa by a people whose greed is indescribable. And it's inexplicable. How can a people have so much greed in them that even from the poor, even from those who have nothing, even from them they will suck the last drop of blood? This is not the best of all worlds. This is a world in which freedom is disappearing. This is a world in which slavery is coming back. And we commend Maulana Siddiq Ahmad Nasir for standing up and offering an intellectual challenge to those who today control the world intellectually. What he did and what I am attempting to do, insha'Allah, in offering a critical analysis, in pointing and exposing oppression, in pointing and exposing corruption around the world, we are fulfilling a duty that the Quran has placed upon us, you and I. Our Prophet Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him, and I hope, Trinidad, you're listening. He said, if you see something wrong, and don't tell me you have not seen Guantanamo, because it's just around the corner. Your government may not see it, because it's not convenient for governments in this part of the world to take a look at Guantanamo. But he said, if you see something wrong, something evil, like that abominable cesspit called Guantanamo, and thank Allah for Dr. Eric Williams, who stood up and demanded the return of Chagaramas. They had a base here in Trinidad called Chagaramas, just close to Venezuela on the north. And if Dr. Williams had not marched in the rain to demand it back, today we might have had in Chagaramas another stinking cesspit. You may not like this violent language of mine, but someone has to be the voice for those who have no voice. If Dr. Williams had not stood up and declared, Massa Day done, today Chagaramas might be a stinking cesspit of oppression and torture. Those who see with two eyes say, this is the worst of all worlds, politically and economically as well. How do we break the chains of slavery that is tightening around us as we proceed with this talk, will give you the evidence that the chains of political slavery are tightening. The chains of economic slavery are tightening. Before we proceed to explain that, how do we break these chains? Maulana Siddiq Nasir, in his brilliant presentation, pointed to the necessity of pursuing the spiritual quest. I would use different language. I would say that we need a revolution. I would say that we need an internal revolution. I would say we need an internal spiritual revolution. And you don't need to go to Al-Azhar University for that. In fact, that's the last place I'll go for it. Malcolm X never went to Al-Azhar. Malcolm X could not speak Arabic. But Malcolm X was a man who was internally free. He was not a house slave in a White House. No. He was a slave like all the rest of us. But he was a field slave, he said. Because inside of him, he was free. And if we are to be a free people, if we are to recover freedom, in order to pursue the quest for political freedom, in order to pursue the quest for economic freedom, which we will be explaining this afternoon, the first thing we have to do, Trinidad and Tobago, is to be internally free, to pursue an internal spiritual revolution. And if your corner church or temple cannot lead you to it, come to Islam. Come to Islam. Come to those who are not afraid to stand up, to point to the oppressor and declare him to be an oppressor. This is not that presentation of Islam that they like in the media, that they like on television. The radio stations love that kind of Islam. Our foreign guests, of course, would not know what I'm talking about. But those who went to school here in Trinidad would know that in ABC, we had a rhyme for that kind of Islam. Patter cake, baker's man. As fast as you can. No. No Trinidad and Tobago. You're not going to get patter cake, baker's man. Not from the students of Maulana Fadl Rahman Ansari, rahimahullah. If you see something wrong, something false, said the Prophet of Allah, change it with your hand. The Security Council of the United Nations could respond anyhow they want. But you cannot change the word of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Change it with